Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and we have a very familiar face with me today. Welcome to our first retro format top in hat. Today we have Daniel. He's going to be talking about his Geargia deck. I have some interview questions. Hat was before my time, so I'm very curious about the format as well, and about Daniel's deck building, tournament experience, reflection after the fact, and let's get right to it. Daniel, without further introductions, what did you play?
Alright, so I played Geargia. This deck is I think very good for this format, but more importantly, we'll just get to the deck profile because I think it's a little bit more integral to just get into it rather than like just understand my deck choice for this event. Um Here we go. Sign for the monsters. There's 3 Geargiarmor, 3 Gear Arsenal, the Accelerator, the MK2, and Geargiana. So all these cards do. This one searches on flip. This one lone fires from grave from deck. Extender, debris dragon, and then this is tribute stuff to revive from grave. So all these cards have really good recursion in itself, and it always gets you constant pluses, which is what you want this deck to do. Play a steady game of Yu-Gi-Oh. And unlike some of these other formats we've seen, this is like the first time in like a long time where like one card engines kind of matter. So like with starting with D6. So having to just play those and just play a bunch of trap cards is like the game plan.
So,
And then I think so.
before
Yeah.
we
What's up?
continue, just a quick
hmm
question. I just wanted to interject here. Why did you choose Geargia for hat? Usually, hat is synonymous with hands, artifact, traptrix. Why not just play the deck the format's in after? Why did you choose Geargia?
Okay. So I chose Geargia because that's what I had in my inventory. Actually, that is like the only core I owned for that event. Um, and but like I played this for numerous years, so like I knew this deck inside and out. So that in itself gave me the edge in this tournament. Before I
Thank you.
interject too, you just also mentioned a very important part of the format. Hands are really important. As you'll see here, I am choosing not to play those cards. And that reason is because in this deck, the highest ceiling is to set a bunch of trap cards with one monster. And the moment you have more normal summons in your hand, the less trap cards you have, therefore you have a lower ceiling. And even though those cards are good into floodgates, and stuff like that, I just wanted to play a consistent game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And that's really important here.
Within engine, is there a particular like Geargia card that you would say like highlight of the tournament MVP card in your within your engine?
We're gonna get to that next card actually, as you'll see here.
Oh, but by all means, let's continue.
Yeah. So this is just the Geary engine. I'm pretty sure this is pretty standard for a lot of people, but going to the next card, which is probably like the reason to play my deck, Ancient Gearbox. So for Taj, like for what this card does is if this card is added to your hand from your deck or grave, um, you get to add a machine monster with 500 attack or defense. So in this deck, there's the Geargiana, the MK2s, and the Arsenals, right? So you might be asking why are you playing this random brick in your deck? It's because I'm playing discard traps, as you'll see. So this card not only gets you engine, but it gives you like a discard outlet that makes your traps better. And this also synonymously gets you an extra body for soul charge, which we'll get to.
That is machine poplar.
Yeah, but yeah, well, not necessarily pop lock because it doesn't special itself, but like it is literally just like it's like volcanic shell. That's like a better term.
Okay, gotcha. Poplar is.
But yeah, but like unlike some of these cards, like you can add this from grave too, which is like very like important in this list. And then this next card is very controversial in Geargia because like this is the other premise of the format. The Master Duel Special, Maxi. So usually in this slot it's Upstart Goblin, and don't get me wrong, I think playing 37 cards is probably better. But I'm playing 42, but it's really just because like you can't deal with all the fast decks like Mermail, Dragon, Sylvan, like those decks are just or even Infinity, those decks just wanna like just put as many cards on the table and just like make a board and you just need as many cards to deal with their board going second. Because you're playing a trap deck. So in those cases you want to be able to set 5 hopefully.
In
And
other
just
words,
even
no further comments. Maxi is a card. Let's move on.
um although I do want to comment on this too. A lot of people playing against me, they only drew one card because I'm just setting armor. So like their maxes are like way worse versus me.
I see.
And then again we go back to the other premise of the format. Soul charge. This card's crazy. Like I hate to say it, but like this, if you don't have your own soul charge in your deck, I feel like you are behind in like what this format has to offer, because what this card does literally is just you're allowed to break your board, play this, and then make your board, and then set a bunch of trap cards in your deck, which is really cool. But this also just gets you back in the game in like in when you're top decking. So this is the best top decking Yu-Gi-Oh in this format. Um, yeah, like this card is so powerful. Um, but sometimes too, like if your hand is like kind of weak, what you want to do is just like when you normally summon Arsenal, you want to like summon armor from your deck, so charge your Arsenal back, summon the Geargiarmor, and just start exceeding to make a board. Even if it's like low impact at the very early parts of the game, because all you want to do is start. So this does get better at the end of the game, but like near the ends of the game, but like you want to put this as like an extender basically. And then Dark Hole, this card's that won this format. You need in the mirror you want like to beat their armors. If they're going second, you know it's a hand, you want to trigger it because like this is the only card that you're playing, so they can't trigger hands. Against like established boards of monsters that can't be targeted, this is like the best card to top deck too. So and then especially we're in like these like very slow formats, you need to start top decking cards that like are just better, and this is one of them. So yeah, and then so the next part of the deck is trap cards. This is like 21 of them. So very synonymous to like what you like as a trap player, like Paleo and Labyrinth. Like these are just like a bunch of cards that you want to play. So through Gear, this card says summon 2 level 3s, Gear monsters from your deck, and then increase by 1. So like you're summoning 2 level 4s from your deck. Which is like this is like the reason to play Gear. Like once you resolve this, like there's no Ash Blossom, no nothing. So like this always usually resolves. 3 wire tap. This card's important because it also denies this, but every trap card in the format. So and it shuffles it back. So like everyone's just playing wire tap wars with each other game 1. And you might be asking, there's no spell MST in my deck for my spells, and MST is not very good because like no one's playing floodgates. So like why? And then you don't want to blind MST into back row in these formats. So like, because of hands and artifacts. So like don't you kind of just want to play this one because it guarantees a 1-for-1. The Blackthorn of Heaven. It's kind of like Psalm Strike in like modern Yu-Gi-Oh, where it negates a summon, inherent summon. So like if everyone's setting back row, right? Everyone at some point has to like start playing with you. So like playing like Diamond Dyer Ropes, Escalon Knights. So denying those cards to protect your board is really crucial. And in most match, you might be asking if everyone's playing control, like this is usually dead. Like yeah, but like if you're playing versus the mirror or like like some of these aggro decks that try to like push your board, you just want this because like they're gonna eventually do it. And then what is it? Then the reason to play Gearbox: 3 Wing Blast and 3 Divine Wrath. So I feel that like these cards are like the best cards in the format. But the problem with these cards is they're all like they require your discard. So Gearbox, every turn, if you like top deck these, like make these cards live. The reason to play them is because this one is the most versatile one between like all the discard cards, where it not only gets you to play like play with Wing Blast or not Wing Blast, skill drains and stuff like that, which is like a crutch in this deck. It deals with boss monsters, so like cards like Honor Arc, hands, stuff like that. Like you want to be able to spin those back on top of the deck, which is really important. In Swiss, I had to play versus was a Gravekeeper, and Necro was like my crutch, so like I had to spin that back on top of the deck to soul charge. And then I think the MVP of my tournament experience was Divine Wrath. This card is Solemn Strike. So everyone's playing hands, right? So like what ends up happening is like they attack and they're like a damage step effect, they're like Divine Wrath, and like they die. Like it's so free. So like and it beats like Black Rose, Exoton Knights, stuff with that criteria. So like they always fall into it every time. No one was reading this, which is like I think every game 1, when I resolved this, it was game. Like it was just crazy. Um, so yeah, like these like without these cards in the Geargia deck, I feel like the Geargia deck is way worse into everything else. So I feel like this was like these were the MVPs of my tournament experience.
This is
2D
pretty much how
Prison.
you used to like just counter the format and just comment test in the format. The back row really was the you like you had said a crutch into those matchups. But I was a bit curious in terms of gameplay matchups. Did you have anything difficult during Swiss? What were your matchups in Swiss?
So round one was the mirror. Round two was hieratic ruler. Round three was gravekeeper. Round four Madolce. Round five the mirror again, and then round six for some reason I knew he was playing water, but like he wanted to eat, so like he just wanted to play it out. I guess we both top, so like it's cool, but like yeah, like so that's the thing, right? Like everyone in the tournament during Swiss, they were like, "Oh my god, your deck is gas!" Like just because of like cards like Wing Blast and like Divine Wrath, I get to have an edge every game because no one was reading into them. So like me, like deck building knowledge at that point, like I had like the significant like way to like outplay everybody basically. So, anywho, the rest of the traps, 2D prison, everyone's playing hands, so like you need this to like when they crash into it. This is like the best one. This also beats like the big monsters your deck has trouble with. So like, it's cool. Although in hindsight, Mirror Force was legal, and according to all my teammates who like played me in the tournament, they all wish they played it instead in their deck instead of this card. For me, this card was better, but like maybe this could be Mirror Force. I don't know. Like this would be we would attest more, but this card was really good.
And Mirror Fist is at one in this format, correct?
And it's at two,
It's at two.
I believe. Yeah. So and Deep Prison's at two too. So it's like there was like a list before, like previous list before in the past that I played. Like I played both, but like I decided to just play Deep Prison just due to the lack of like room in my deck, if that makes any sense. And then the four staple one-ups in the format, you have to play them. There's an argument that you don't have to play this one or this one in my deck. Um, but like I just wanted as many momentum swings as possible, so like these cards are very good. So you should just be playing these. Like everyone has to play around them. Um,
So now that you've gone over the main deck, I'm a bit curious. So how did you manage to like balance the difference between when to go aggro with your plays with Geargia versus the control style you've built for your deck?
that actually goes into our extra deck.
Oh, let's go. Let's continue then.
So like to answer that question, you get to play the best boss monster in this format, which is like Gigant X. So what this card does is on detach, you get to search a level 4 machine, right? So it goes back to the idea of like, hey look, this gearbox that we play is just this card's like a +2 now every time, right? Which is like when you look at card economy and like you that's just absurd. So like you might be asked, this accelerator card we all play right here. This card is not once per turn summon, and you can summon as many of these, right? So like what you do is like you go Gigant, detach, add this back from grave, special again. When you, if you as long as you have other Geargias, right? Because this is not a Geargia monster, but like um that like usually if you have like armored Gear, it's a game like 8,000 on the spot. So that's the whole point of like aggro, where like if you since there's no one's really playing like Battle Fade or Gore stuff like that this format. As long as you get to exhaust their back row, you can go for game.
Got it.
And then the other thing too is that against a cat or like artifact decks, a lot of times what ends up happening is that like you can make a read if they have like Sanctum or like Molotech on their back row, so like it's dead like half the time. So you can make that read and just go for game. So, but yeah, this is like the heart and soul of the deck. This is the other reason to play this deck too, because this card floats. So like, it feels like a Geargiano, so you can always have level 4s and keep playing. So like, this is you can run this into backers and you just don't care, basically. But that's like the whole. If anything, that's like the you can go aggro with this deck when you make the switch. And this is the only deck that can do that switch actually. I think consistently. Anything else?
explained the card perfectly. What else is in that extra deck?
Um, this next card is like very controversial in Geargia too. I played two of it in my deck because my friend played it. I think it's his genius. That Gusto Emerald. So usually in this deck, you're trying to like um add like these like accelerators or like Geargia or MK2 so your cards are alive again to grind. But the other thing is that like you want to draw trap cards in this deck, right? So this gives you another way to draw cards every turn. Which is really important. But also like if you because I played two, you can if they kill one, you can emerald back the other one. So you always have a constant loop of monsters with these. So you never like you have the best grind game essentially, which is like I think really important in this format where no one's playing Pot of Avarice, no one's playing like the hat deck has to play Pot of Dichotomy maybe, but like everyone and everyone has to soul charge right like to come back. Well, you just get to play like every game, which is like really cool. And then the next card is Two Abyss Dweller. So the reason I played this, usually people just play one, especially since you have to play Emerald. But I feel like the freedom of having two makes it so that like you can play through hands easier, stuff like that. Against water, which is the worst matchup, you need this so that you just don't like you just don't die versus that deck immediately because like all their effects activate in Grave. Even Dragon Ruler too. And then in my side deck, as you'll see, I'm not really playing like Macrocosmos, Skill Drain, Defissure, or Soul Drain for that matter. So and because those cards are really good, but they're inconsistent because they're one ups. So you rather just make the consistent floodgate monster that you can make every game rather than having to draw it. Honor Arc, I feel like this card is very good. Maybe I played multiple, but like I wanted was fine. I never really needed more. Um, Exton, sometimes I made it, but like in this deck, I feel like if you're making it, you're just really behind. Unless like you're going second on your turn one to break a board, so then soul charge, right? So like maybe that's good there, but like it's like okay. Diamond Dire Wolf. This is another card I wish you could probably play more because like your game plan also is just to like pop a bunch of back row and then make your play. So like making 2/4s, like putting a back row to neg one and then soul charge is good. So in testing, you can probably play more in the future, but I played one for this event. Rhapsody, unfortunately, like this is really good, but like I lost in top eight because like I Rhapsody the wrong thing. So like this card's just two DD crows on legs, and then when you can equip it to an exceed and get 1200. So like it makes your guys really big. So play it, yeah. And then the controversial card too is Giant Hand. Just to let you know, Taj, this was a prize card in this format. So now that everyone has access to this, you should probably play it if possible. It's
Yeah, I was
just
gonna say,
effect failure.
whoa, wait a minute, that's a prize card in your deck. Could you have even played it like this version of
You
the
know,
card back then?
everyone played it back then. If you, it was a pay to win card. Obviously, it was obviously like win more in the sense that like this card's not necessary. Like this card was underperformed in my tournament experience just because everyone just killed it. But like it's not like insane, but it's nice to have if that makes any sense when you're top decking.
Curious,
So
do you
yeah.
remember the price tag on the prize card back then?
Um, I want to say give or take $1,000 on this for supers, not ultras.
For super rare prize cards, you're looking at a grand price tag back in the day. That's insane.
Give or take. It could have been 800. I don't remember on top of my head, but like, yeah, you a lot of people just paid to win basically. Mega Equip Engineer. I never really made this. This card was cool, but like, it was not necessary in my deck, so you can cut it. Um, Souls of Mountain. This card's crazy. This card's Night Beam on legs, so like, and then you can when you kill a monster, it revives back your Geargia monster. So like, I think this card's like worthwhile to play. And then Zen mains. This card was like average, but like you'll see in my side deck. I wish I played more of this because like this lets you like pop floodgates and stuff like that, and like give you a wall, so like you just don't die. It gives you like your MK2s when you normal summon as something like productive to play. If that, so yeah. Then that's it for the extra. The side deck. 3 MST. Um, so I sat and when Wiretap's like really bad, you just side in this, and then you can just start beating floodgates going second. So like cards like Skill Drain Decree, Kaiser Coliseum, Record Valley. I just want it all gone. Even like starter cards like Kenki or like the Malsylvania, like I wanted to beat those two. So or Abyssphere. That's another card. Um, and then 3/7 pulls of the Bandit. So like you might be just asking like, I just played this. Why are you also playing this? Again, it goes back to like control mirrors, right? Like Membacy is really bad, so like you need more cards that are like wiretap, or like if you're playing these type of like counter shock wars, you want as many of them as possible, right? Because you just want to deny them engine. If not, like you want your place to go through. So like yeah, 1,000 life points kind of bit me in like one match in during Swiss, but like overall, like this card was fantastic. Um, and the other big thing that like I knew about the format that I don't think a lot of people did know is like trap stun existed. So like when again it goes back to, if people want to beat multiple back row, trap stun is the best card to like attempt to break the board, because you can go like Exoton or Black Ruse. So like and you get like max pluses off of that. So this card also denied trap stun. So like I did not want to like, I want my trap cards to always be playable against those decks. And then 3 needle ceiling. So this is like torrential 2.0. So what's nice about this deck is that your deck gets to play Geargiarmor, which is basically a set monster every turn. So like this, your Geargiarmor never dies, or everything else does. So like when they soul charge you, you just do this, and they cry inside. They're like, oh my god, I wasted all my life points for nothing. Um, Especially when they make an established port too, it's like I comboed, I wasted all my resources, bam, you're dead. So this card's really good. Um, Taj, you like this card? Where it gets into, and this card was like a reason why like my Madoche opponent kind of like died. Rivalry. What's up?
Oh,
So
back
like
in the
as
day.
you'll know, yeah. So like all you know is like all my cards are machine monsters. So like you get to play just like, a very solid game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Where it's just Gigant all day, and those cards float. So you don't really have to summon any extra deck monsters. You just get to chop deck chops every turn, right? Another big thing in my extra deck that we noticed was Zenmates is also a machine. So like I wish I played more of it, because like it makes your MKTs a lot more productive after turn one. So like you get to have like your Geargians and Zenmains both are really sticky monsters in the format under rivalry. So like they can, in those against those matches, they can never kill you. Essentially, they have to tap their MSTs for this, which is like very crucial. You put them on better habit basically. Um, and then also this helps you break the board going second. So like since it doesn't destroy, like some like these combo decks, they just put up like, big monsters and you're like, poop, you're dead. And then the next card is 3 Vanity Emptiness. Basically, again, it goes back to, these were like the macro soul drain and defisher slots. But the problem I had with those cards weren't good going second. So like these were just like the best thing you can play, because a lot of times going second board, your turn comes back, you need to ceiling them, and then you make your board, and then you emptiness them. Like it's really good, right? So like you're basically on soft lock. Um, and another thing is that, again, like if the last thing is soul charge, you just do this, and like there's wraps. So yeah, that is the deck. Any questions? Any questions, Saj?
Let's do some final wrap up questions then. Just Hat's not a normal tournament that's very popular compared to like Go to Edison. So how did you prepare for this tournament in particular?
I'll be honest with you, I went this off a lot of it by memory. So like I played this format, so like I knew the ins and outs of like all my matchups, and like just like how I wanted to play. My problem was like I needed to like look back a little bit further through like old like videos and stuff to just kind of get a grasp of my trap lineup, because I wanted to make sure that like I had the edge, in the sense that like no one was making reads on my trap cards, because that's what a lot of people do in these formats, where like if you have like concept on this torrential, I just don't want to like commit, right? But like if they in this deck, if no one's playing into like Phoenix Wing Blast or like Divine Wrath, that gives me the edge, right? Like so with this ancient gearbox thing, this makes it so that all those cards are free to resolve.
What
Um,
advice would you give
yeah.
to like a new person entering a hat format tournament with Geargia or something different? What would you give to someone like myself advice if I wanted to play a hat tournament?
Okay. So, uh, I the best way I can think of it is know your deck really well, because like I feel that like in these type of formats where like there's just too much variance, in a bunch of matches that exist, you want to be able to make sure that you understand your deck very well, so that you have your game plan established before they can. And the moment you're able to like do that, um, you succeed in Swiss. That's what I did. Like I didn't really care about any of my opponent's deck did. I just want to make sure my deck resolved as much as I could.
Go ahead and wrap up with this last question. Looking back now that you've gone through, played the tournament, is there anything you would have done differently in terms of your deck building or playstyle? After the fact, in hindsight.
Um, well, first of all, like I wish I played worse for I tested versus Mermail a lot more just because that's my worst matchup. I in my testing circle we didn't have access to it, so like that was kind of like I had to kind of like I accepted the loss if I had to play that at all, which happened in Top Cut. So like that just happened. Um, maybe like again like if I this giant hand didn't work out so well as I thought, so like maybe more Diamond Dire Wolves, maybe more Zen mains. I don't know per se. But a lot like I think the main deck was like perfect. My side deck was like perfect for what I wanted to do. It's just my extra where like I sometimes like I struggle a little bit during Swiss, but like it wasn't like the I didn't take a loss out of it. If that makes any sense.
Well, Daniel, thank you for your time. Hopefully, everyone who is watching this video and enjoys the long form content, we're about to get past 26 minutes here, going on to 27. It's been a while. It's good to be back. Thank you guys for watching and stay tuned to the channel. I know it's been some time, but you know how it is here. We'll make content when we feel like it. And, with a new format on the horizon with the Rota, stay tuned. Keep on an eye for us, and we'll hear from you guys again. Thank you guys.